Okay, so let's look at managing pictures in your CatBase database. Now the first most important point to remember is that pictures are not stored in the database. They're stored somewhere on the disk, on your network, and in the database you just have the name for each picture and optionally the path name to where that picture is stored. So let's have a look at an example. Let's open our chocolate eclair record and we can see that we've got one picture here, one picture field with a picture name in it. So in this case our picture is called eclair.jpg and it can be found within a folder called images. Now I'm looking at the Mac here. If you're looking at it on a Windows computer, instead of these colons you'll see backslashes. Okay, but basically that's the delimiter between the folder names. So this images folder might be in various different locations. It might be in the same folder as the actual database, or it might be somewhere else. And when we publish the data, we can tell CatBase where to look for it. We'll get to that in just a moment. So let's say that, so we've got one picture field for our product here, but maybe some products have more than one picture. So we can add additional fields. So go to Admin, Database Setup, and this is our products table. So you can see here we've got picture field. So I'm going to add a new field. Now the field type can either be string or text. String is usually just fine, and we'll give it a name. Let's call it picture 2, and this is most important. We select this checkbox is a picture name, and that tells CatBase that this field contains the name of a picture and it will be treated in certain special ways. So let's add a help tip. I'm going to say optional additional, let's try and spell it right, picture. Okay, so having created that picture field, we're going to put it on our data entry form. So here we go. I'm going to move that one up a bit, and I'll go to field and picture 2. So let's just drag that over, drop it there, and resize it a bit. Okay, save that. So now if I go back to my product list, open up a record, we've now got our 2 picture fields. And an important thing to know is that because we indicated that these are picture fields, different things will happen for this field. So you can see here, it's got our little help tip that we added, optional additional picture. Now if I right click on that field, I get this little pop-up menu, and here I can select a picture or preview one or paste one in. So let's go to select a picture, and I'm just going to, let's pick a random logo or something like that. Let's go logo. Okay, there's the logo. So now I've got my picture selected, and I can preview that by again right clicking on it, and I can say preview picture, and there we go. That's our preview of our picture. Now you can see the difference here is that in this one I've got the full path name, so it's Macintosh HD, blah blah blah, logos, etc. But for this one here I haven't got the full path name, and if I try to preview that one, it says it couldn't be found. So do we want to search within a folder? I'll say yes, and I know that this is going to be found, let's see, that will be, let's have a look in here. Images. Okay, so it's found it. So it found it within the folder that I selected. And now that I've selected a default images folder, it'll automatically find that image. So if I go to a different picture, a different product, Raspberry Tart, again, if I right click on this picture field and choose preview picture, this time it didn't ask me where to look for it because I have just told it what the path name is. So you can add any number of picture fields to each table in your database. So now we've added our pictures, let's get to the important part of publishing them. Let's look at this publishing style sheet, Catalog for InDesign, and you can see that the paragraph number 2 is product pictures. So if I expand that, There's actually only one picture element in there at the moment, and that is if we look at the setup for that, that is going to use the picture field. So I'm going to add another one. So I'm going to right click on there, add an element, choose the element type, picture, and let's go and set that up. So the picture name field selected is picture, which is not the one we want because we've already got that. So I'm going to choose picture 2, and I'm going to say it's going to be an anchored inline box, which means that it will be connected to the rest of the data. So if you change data around, it will move and stick with its own parent data, if you like. And so now the important thing is the size. So I'm going to say I'm going to make them 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters, but size the box proportionally so that if a picture is, let's say, 6 by 4 centimeters, then it will create the box at 6 by 4. So the pictures won't be distorted when they're published. They'll be created at the correct size to fit proportionally within those parameters. Now there are various other options here. For example, we could go with a set percentage. So we could say all our pictures have been created at twice the size we want to actually publish them. So I'm going to make them all 50%. And then when they're published, CatBase will look at each picture, see what size it is, and say, okay, we're going to make it half that size. Another option is the automatic size option. And in this case, let's say all your pictures have been created and saved at the exact size that you want to publish them. So in that case, you can choose automatic, and CatBase will look at each picture as it's publishing the data, and it will create the picture box the exact size that the picture is. But I'm going to go back and stick with the set size of 6 by 6. We've also got various other options here. So for example, you can choose the type of box shape. So you can have an oval one, so you can put them in a round box if you wanted to. And object style, this is an interesting item here. I'm going to give this an object style called pictures. That's very creative, isn't it? Okay, save that. And we'll save that. So now you can see that when we publish this data, we've got in the product pictures paragraph, we've got 2 pictures. The first one is the main picture name, and the second one is the second picture name, if it exists. I just remembered, I want to check one thing here. If a picture doesn't exist, we don't want to draw an empty box. So let's say, as an example, every product should have a main picture, and every product may or may not have a second picture. So for the second picture, we'll leave this don't draw the box selected, so you don't get an empty box with no picture if there's no picture name for the second picture. And on the other hand, for the first one, we look at the setup for that one, I've told it if the picture is missing, draw an empty box. So since there's supposed to be a picture for every product, if one is missing for some reason, then CatBase will still create a box, and you'll just see an empty picture box when you place the data. So that will give you a clue that something's wrong. Now earlier I said that when you publish your data, you can tell CatBase where to look for the images. So to do that, you go to the Preferences tab in your Publishing Style sheet, and then the Images sub-tab. And now you'll see we've got this default image folder field here. So I'm going to click on the Select the Folder button, and I'm going to say, okay, all my images are to be found in this folder called Images, which is within, as it happens, my demo folder. Now this could be a shared folder on your network, or it could be on your computer, or on a backup disk, or a separate disk drive, or wherever you have access to it. So let's select that. So now you can see we've got the image folder selected. So now CatBase is going to look within this folder for all the pictures if it can't find them, if they don't have the path name included in their picture name. And it will also look within any subfolders in there. So let's say, for example, you've got lots and lots of pictures, and you want to organize them into subfolders by, say, supplier, or by category, or product type, or however you want to do it. So CatBase knows that once you select the main folder, the parent folder if you like, it will look in that folder and in all its subfolders for each picture. Now another thing you may need to do is tell CatBase what file extensions to expect. So we could say, let's say for example, that all our pictures are named with the product urn.jpg. So for example, a product whose URN is abc123, its main picture is going to be called abc123.jpg. And so because we've set it up that way, we can use the URN field to find the actual picture. So we can say that the URN field is a picture field, and then we can tell CatBase that what it needs to do is look for the picture with the URN name and then a specified file extension. You can have various file extensions, so maybe some of them are JPEG, so I'm going to say .jpg, a comma, and then they might be EPSs. Okay, so now CatBase knows it's going to look in this folder for a picture that has the picture name plus either a .jpeg or a .eps file extension. Alright, so let's see what happens when we publish this data. Let's go to Publishing Project, Catalog for InDesign, and Publish Now. So CatBase has created the file that's got all our information in it. We'll go to our InDesign template, over a bit. Alright, so let's import that file that we just published. That one. So the data is now being placed into InDesign and formatted as required. Now if I find the products that we added an additional picture name for, here it is, are chocolate eclairs. So you can see that now we've got the main picture name, and then we've also got the additional picture name, which was the CatBase logo I selected. So in this case, it has put that onto another line because there wasn't room for both of them to fit on the same line. But obviously if this one was a bit smaller, like that, and if that one was a bit smaller too, now they both fit on the same line together because they're in the same paragraph. So there you go. That's how to publish pictures with CatBase.